Okay, and let me share my screen. Okay, I'm not going to present because every time I present, it kind of messes up the whole thing. Okay, so welcome to week 6. Last week because I had a midterm, so I didn't really have time. But this week we're back, and just a little bit of review. So from the very beginning of the semester, we tackled programmatic UI, at least some of it, how to ditch storyboard, um, initialize and show a view controller with just code, how to code up like a basic sign-in UI, sign-in page, and also SnapKit. So SnapKit is basically something that vastly simplifies the programmatic auto layout constraint syntax. So you only have to type in maybe I think a third or less than a third of the code compared to if you just use the native functions and syntax. And of course, we built a sign-in page, and now I think it's time for us to move on to Firebase. So, so this is what we had where we left off last time. So our sign-in page UI that looks pretty clean, I think, and it's also reactive, and by that I mean depending on light mode or dark mode, it automatically switches. And this time, let's talk about Firebase. So first, what is Firebase, right? So Firebase is a backend platform developed by Google that can power mobile or web applications. So you can actually use Firebase as your entire backend server if you wanted to. You're actually able to do that. Um, but you have to realize that Firebase is not just a database. It's much more than that. It creates a really easy way for you to do authentication, so you don't have to handle storing. Well, yeah, you don't have to handle like storing user info or all the security measures when it comes to login. Firebase wraps it all up in a really nice and easy to use SDK. Um, there's also cloud functions. So cloud functions basically mean, or think of it as server-side functions, right? And you can even make it so server-side functions are basically blocks of code that trigger either through some URLs, like either triggered by the user, or in Firebase, it's more advanced. It can actually monitor changes in the database, and you can actually trigger the functions by making a change in a certain part of the database. So you can define that. There's also analytics that it tells you basically if you're, let's say, yeah, if you're writing like an iOS application natively, then it can actually tell you what screens the users visit the most. And then if they crash, it's able to give you like a very simplified crash report. And then where your users are located, some geographic information and all that. It also has machine learning toolkits that I've never used, but apparently Firebase has ML Kit. I'm not too sure what the difference is between that one and Apple's ML Kit, but I've never used it, so you can look that up. There's also something called um, well, it's called Firebase Cloud Messaging, so Cloud Messaging Service. So that basically means push notifications. So instead of you having to set up your own server, and then when something happens in a database, like your server has to detect it somehow, then send Apple some data, and then Apple sends it to your phone. Well, Firebase has really simple triggers for those. You can just use cloud functions to monitor databases, and then you can set up automatic triggers for push notifications, which is like super convenient. Now I can actually show you what a Firebase dashboard looks like. So let me switch. Wait, let me just share my entire desktop actually. Okay. So this is basically the Q app. If I zoom out, let's zoom out. I think this is the one. So you can see all the people that signed up for the app
Oh,
here.
user data leaked.
Yeah, it's okay. They're just public email. I can't see the passwords anyways. There's nothing sensitive stored here. And then Cloud Firestore. So
Does the
Firebase,
provider mean like what device were they on?
um, it means the sign-in method. Okay, so let me
Oh,
turn
okay.
off dark mode so it's a little bit easier to see. So this one is Apple sign in.
Yeah.
And you see Apple actually uses their own kind of middleman email that kind of hides your own email.
Hmm.
So
Well,
that's
I
pretty
saw
cool.
at the bottom it's still Apple, but it shows USC email. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can choose to not you can so when you sign up with Apple, there's actually an option in they ask you if you want to show your email or hide your email. So if you choose show your email, then it's going to show this email. Now,
Oh,
if you
okay.
choose hide my email, then this one's private relay or something. The
Yeah,
Apple kind of middleman.
that makes sense.
Yeah, and there are like a lot of sign-in methods, right? So I enabled Google, Apple, and anonymous, although I don't think I have an option for that. I should probably disable it actually. Yes. Um, so you see there's a lot more. There's email password, which I disabled because I just wanted people to use Google.
Hmm.
I think it's harder to spam my database if you have Google sign in. I also disabled phone, but you can do that too. It's also like Facebook, Twitter, GitHub,
Oh, I see.
all that, right?
Hmm.
And so there's also Cloud's Firestore and real-time database. So these are the two types of databases that Firebase use. Real-time database is more like a SQL database. It's more structured like a SQL database. While Cloud Firestore is more it's a NoSQL. Well, I mean, real-time database is also NoSQL, but this one, Cloud Firestore it's more it's closer to a um, what is it? It's closer to like a file system almost, and the UI is a little bit more user friendly, I guess.
Hmm.
Yeah. It also provides storage, so I have like class images. Let's see what this is. Instructor image. Yeah, there you go. Um, there's also hosting if you decide to host, yeah, not host, but basically host your website. Yeah, host your web app on Firebase.
Hmm.
I think this is what it is, or is it talking about like CDN servers? I'm not sure. And this is all this is the cloud function, right? So I actually have this function where it will notify a user of any incoming new message under their so if let's say I'm in a room and when a host closes the room while I'm still in the queue, it will basically write a message into my messages folder, quote unquote. And then this call function will detect it. See, this trigger is it's triggered by a document update in any user's messages folder. So this UID you can actually see is a wildcard, meaning it just applies to every single document under this user folder. So when it detects a change here, an update here, it basically sends some push notification. So let's see if I can actually show you the code, because I think I can actually show you what it does exactly. Um, source, is that it? Message.js, yeah. So this is like the source code for the cloud function that sends like a push notification to both Apple and Android actually, both Apple and Android. Um, so you see, all I have to do is send to device,
Hmm.
and the Firebase will handle all the interactions with Apple or Google.
Oh,
Yeah, and there are also logs.
that's convenient.
Um, yeah, and there's also it's really slow. It's just going to show a bunch of errors, I think, because oh, okay, no logs. Um, there's also machine learning, although I'm not too sure what it does, to be honest. Um, learn more, I guess. I think it just it gives you like text recognition, maybe. Oh, so you can actually run your own model. I think that's cool. Um, image recognition. that kind of stuff, I guess. Recognize labels. Okay, so eBay uses their stuff. So, you know, so that's legit, I guess. Whoops. Let me close this actually. Shit. And there's also analytics. You can see, so let me go back to so the last 12 months, let's do. Yeah. So at its peak, I had like what, 230 users. And it just shows you. So the thing is, because I use Flutter, everything just runs in one container from iOS point of view. It just runs in the Flutter view controller. So I can't really tell which screen the users spend the most time on. But yeah, so there's a lot of just version adoption, acquisition. You know, it's also Chinese users. Pretty interesting. See devices. I think that's cool. Demographics, nothing. Interest, nothing. Okay. So iOS versus Android. Right. I'm not sure what real time is. Yeah, nobody's using that. Yeah, so lots of cool stuff, right? And there's also there's even more that I don't even know like what they are, like predictions. I'm not too sure what this is, to be honest with you. A/B testing. This is something to do with testing. Okay, cloud messaging. Now this is so this is, you can basically, if I send something here, it's just gonna send a push notification to everyone who's installed this app, which I won't do because that's just gonna piss people off. In-app messaging, I'm actually not too sure what this is, to be honest. Oh, okay. So this is, I think this is more like you can send different push notifications, I guess, to different groups of users based on some criteria. A remote config. Okay, server-side configuration. Okay, yeah, I already have that. I already have this built in elsewhere. Dynamic links. So that's like, so when you, what's a good example? So when you, oh, I forgot to start video. Whoops. So let's say, so when you, let's say you're using Spotify, right? And then there are Spotify, there are special Spotify links where you, if you click onto them, it's going to take you to a very specific screen within the app. So that's what dynamic links are, I think. Or I might have just explained it completely wrong. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure because I never used it. And this is, of course, integrating ads, right? So a lot of functions, trigger email, lots of stuff. You can even, it even has a way of integrating, making payment integration easy for you with Stripe. So that's a payment processor. So you know, lots of cool stuff here. So yeah, so don't just dismiss it as a database. It's more like an entire backend support package that I think is really cool. So today we're going to do a few things here for Firebase. So we're first going to do the CocoaPod integration, and then we're going to integrate the sign up, because before you sign in, you have to sign up. Today we're only doing email and password. We're not going to do Google or Apple yet. You can look them up. You can look them up, or maybe I'll do it next time. But today we're not doing it. We're also doing the forgot password, and after we do all the login stuff, I'm going to show you how to read and write stuff from into a database. Cloud Firestore. We're going to use this one instead of the real-time database, just because this is the newer product, and there's, I don't know, I just like it better. All right, but before we start, I want to do something here. I want to, so if you've pulled the starter code, you might notice a few changes. So let me build this again. So the first change that I made is, of course, all right, I added this sign up screen, right? So I created the sign-up view controller. I literally just copy and pasted from the sign-in view controller and then added one more confirmed password text field, deleted a few extra buttons, and renamed some of the labels, and that's it, right? Just copy and paste. And the way I presented this was in sign-in view controller. So line 135. If you're using the latest code on GitHub, but it's just the trigger action for the button. So it just presents the sign-up view controller animated true because it looks pretty. And nothing for the completion block because we don't really want to do anything after it completes. The animation completes, that is. A second thing that I did that you may not have done if you don't have my code on GitHub is when you click on forgot password, this actually pops up. So it's a UI alert controller. So the code's over here, you can actually see it. So it has a title, it has a message. I can type in my email, and if I click on recover password, it's going to show a brief loading screen. Actually, it doesn't because I haven't done it yet. I've done it on the other on my other computer. Because I'm trying to. Okay, so I'll do that. But let me walk you through how I did this. I think Zoom's blocking. So let me walk you through how I did this alert controller. This thing, this pop-up. So let me rearrange this a bit. Okay. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to instantiate a UI alert controller. And when you instantiate it, you can actually pick from two different constructors, but pick this one. So you're able to give it a title, which is this top title, a message, which is this receive a password, recover email. This is the message, and also a style. So there are two styles. One style is alert, which is what we have right now. The other one is an action sheet. So an action sheet is something that pops up from the bottom of your screen. So I can show you what it looks like. So this is what it looks like. This is an action sheet. Now I actually wanted to do action sheets, but the problem is if you want to have a text field in it, you cannot use action sheet. So this is fine too, right? But so the next step is to add a new text field in there. And interestingly, it actually gives you a convenience method called just add text field, because apparently I think it's a common thing. So so they just add this convenient method here. Now when you click on this, it gives you a closure, a configuration handler. Now just hit enter on it, and then this again, you can name it whatever you want. You can name it Jeff. I'll just name it Jeff. And then in here is actually where you do the configuration for that specific text field. Now you can see the text field I have right here. It says email address. It has like a placeholder, right? And then when I type in, it doesn't autocorrect me. So that's because I defined the settings here in this add text field closure. So I was able to set the placeholder and then change autocorrection type to no. Like this is literally this. So this part is it's literally the same as what's in here. It's just given to you slightly differently. Now, if I type TF, you can see the type is just UI text field, and you can do whatever thing you want to do with it, right? So whatever you do to a normal UI text field, you can do it to this one. It's just a built-in text field, right? So I just added the email address as a placeholder, turned off the autocorrect because it's just dumb to like I just hate it when I'm trying to type in my email and it constantly autocorrects me. And speaking of which, I actually left one thing out. I want to change the keyboard to an email keyboard. The keyboard type let's do like email address. Right now you can see my keyboard's the default one, but now if I run this again and go back to that alert, you can see that my keyboard's changed. It has this add button and this dot and this period. So it's easier for me to type in the email. So that's that. That's how you add a text field. And after that, there's something called there's something like if you want to add a button or multiple buttons down here, they are called UI alert actions. So UI alert action. Now, for an UI alert action, there's only one constructor. So it takes in a title, which is just what this button's called, what text to display. There's a style. So for the style, you have default, you have cancel, default, or destructive. Now I can show you what they are. So now this is default. So let me switch it to cancel. I think it's just gonna bold it or something. Yeah, so now it's bolded. Well, I think this looks better actually. Now there's also destructive, which is bolded in red. So actually not bolded, just red. So three different styles for you to choose from. I'll do default actually. Yeah. And then after that, it gives you again another closure. So you can see how prominently closures are used in Swift. It's called handler. And again, just hit enter for it to format it for you. Now, again, you can name this whatever you want. It's just how you kind of access this object in this code block. I can call it AAA or whatever. And so this is how I can access this action, this button. But normally you don't have to, right? So you see here I defined it, but I never used it. So if I never use it, I can just change it to an underline. But what you can do to it is, you can change the title if you want to. You can, for whatever reason, after the user presses it, you want to change the text. You can do that. You can also change if it's disabled or enabled. Now, I think this is useful to prevent the users from tapping on it multiple times. There's also the style. You can change the style afterwards. You can change it to like .cancel or .destructive, right? But that's about it. That's all the thing. So just the style and the title and is enabled. Three things you can change about this button, right? But normally we don't really mess with it. So you can just use an underline. And in here is actually what. So this is basically you're defining what code should be executed when the user clicks on this button. Right. So now what I've done is I'm just trying to pull the text from this text field. Let me add a print. Let me run this again. I can show you if it works. Yeah, see, now it's printed. So let me explain to you what I'm trying to do here. So remember how we added a text field into the alert controller. The alert controller actually has something called text fields. It is, as you can see, an array of UI text field. But it is optional because if you never do any add text fields, this will be nil because there are no text fields. Now I added the text field literally a few lines above it. So you can probably, like in this case, for sure it's not going to be nil. You can just force unwrap, but I still did like a soft save unwrap anyways. But just keep in mind that it is optional. This alert.text fields, this text fields array, it is optional. So you'll have to unwrap it. Now, so you see TFs is just the unwrapped array. Now, I only added one text field, so I'm just gonna get the first one, or you can do like .first or something. .first could actually be safer because it returns an optional. So what it means is that If your array is empty, then it will just return nil. If it's not empty, then it'll just return the first element. But if you try to get the first element with an index 0, now if this array is empty, then you'll just crash here. I added this nil, it's kind of nil default value because textfield.text is an optional value. So I'm just doing some null safety thing here. And then I printed out the text from the first and only text field in the text field array of the UI alert controller. And it was what we just entered into it. It's here.
Can you show an example
Yeah.
of where there can be multiple text fields in the UI alert?
Sure. Let me just copy and paste this. Confirm email address. Now there's 2.
Okay.
Yeah. And in this case, this alert.text fields array will have 2 elements.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And the way you know which text field you're accessing, so they're appended into the array by order of their of when you called add text field. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's really easy to keep track. There's nothing funky going on here. So let's get rid of that. So that's that. So now what we want to do is we want to use Firebase to send a forgot password email. And then we want to display some kind of loading indicator, basically telling the user that something's happening instead of just a blank screen doing nothing. And then eventually we're going to dismiss the loading indicator after Firebase gives us an OK or a callback. So we're going to do the loading indicator later. So right now, let's jump into Firebase because it's been way too long. I promised you guys Firebase in the first class, and we still haven't done it. So let's go ahead and do it. All right. Now, go to console.firebase.google.com. Let me turn on my dark mode again. Let me know when you guys are ready. And I'm actually going to grab some water because I'm really thirsty. Let me actually get a drink too. So it's coconut water and watermelon. It actually tastes pretty nice. You guys should try it when you have the chance.
Very interesting combination.
Actually tastes pretty good.
Is this a sponsor segment?
It isn't. I wish it was.
Head CP. Today we're sponsored by coconut watermelon and watermelon coconut.
Yes. The age of Soylent sponsorship has passed.
Yeah, Soda has been taken over.
I've got way too many boxes of them. I canceled my subscription
Oh my
because I have too much stock. All right, let me go when you guys are on the screen.
Yeah, welcome to Firebase.
All right. And by the way, do not use your USC email.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, because the USC administrators they disabled all the functions here.
All right, give me 1 second.
Soothing. Have a sip after your program crashes. It's gonna cheer you up. Especially when it crashes during runtime, and you can't find the cause of it.
Yeah. Oh my god, I remember first time using Q. It's like I can't get it working, and then you're like, yeah, let me add some like debugging logs. Okay. And then it worked with it. Sometimes you just need some print statements, you know?
Yeah, that one was really odd. I still don't know like why people couldn't get it to work. And nobody else has had that problem since.
Okay. All good.
All right, so let's click on add project
Okay.
and let's get a name. So I'll just call it all ITP344. Oh, no, no, no. I have to add it to an existing one. Oh, there we go. All right. And next up, sure, why not enable Google Analytics? It just gives you a lot of useful information, useful things that you won't use. But, all right, continue. Now choose an account. Just choose default account for Firebase.
Oh, I don't even have that. It just goes straight to analytics location, data sharing, and
Oh, so it just went past
transfer.
that probably. A project with the same project ID already exists.
Yeah, I just pressed the Google and the whatever and just press continue.
What happened?
Yeah, I'm after that. I'm on the stage you're in.
Okay. Yeah. How come this project name has already been taken? Like 344X Spring 2021. How's that possible?
Oh, because I took it. I think I used
Oh,
it.
you took it.
Yeah,
Oh shit!
I got it right a second before you did, probably.
Yikes.
Ooh, ITP344X Richard. That's funny.
All right, cool. All right, so add an app to get started. Click on iOS. All right, it's going to ask you for iOS bundle ID. Okay. How about this? You guys should go to the project settings and change your bundle identifier so it's not what I have here. So maybe change this part to your name or something.
How do I get this thing up?
Just click on this thing at the very top.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Make sure you change your bundle identifier so it is not this.
Don't worry.
Yeah, I'll actually just get rid of week 4 at this point. Let me actually try to build it, see if it should still work. I don't think, yeah, that's not going to affect anything. Just paste it in here. Sorry, 1 second.
Done.
And the nickname, it's up to you. And App Store ID, we don't have it yet. So just click register app. Okay, now it's going to ask you to download this configuration file. Just download it. All right, and after you download it, make sure you do this in Xcode. Just drag it into your project and check copy items if needed. This is important. Make sure you check this, copy items if needed.
What does that do? The copy items if needed.
So basically, if you don't check that, it's gonna basically not include this file in your actual folder in Finder, and you're basically gonna lose this if you delete it from your downloads folder.
Wait, what level do we?
Well, any level, but just leave it in the base level.
Okay.
Yeah. And just click finish. And here it is. Now we have it. And then click next again. Now it's going to ask us to add this into our CocoaPods file. So let's do that. Wow, look at this.
Smug J.
Yes. So open up your pod file and just paste Firebase, the Firebase pod, the analytics pod rather, into your pod file, like so. And now you'll have to Now you have to open up your terminal and do a pod install.
Pod update does the same thing, right? Like last time you said.
Yeah. On lower versions, pod update is way slower.
Mm-hmm.
What's this? Oh no, an error occurred. Is it because I have to use the Rosetta terminal? Could be. Oh yeah, wait, I'm a little bit confused.
Wait, was it pod install or pod update?
Either one's fine. Oh yeah, I had to do it in the Rosetta 2 terminal.
Pod is not up to M1 yet.
No. Believe it or not, CocoaPods has nothing to do with Apple. I think. All right, so you see it's installing a lot of things here. All right, now go back to your workspace. Actually, yeah. So actually go back to the website. It actually shows you the sort of initialization code that you have to add. So basically in app delegate, add this line of code, firebase app.configure. Of course, you have to import Firebase first. So let's do that. So in our Xcode, let's go to the app delegate and let's import Firebase. And let's do it right after our IQ keyboard manager. So firebase app.configure. So that basically initializes Firebase the moment your app starts up.
Mm-hmm.
And now let's click next. Okay, so I'm all set.
Okay, all we did was import Firebase. That was it.
Import Firebase and then add this line, firebase app.configure.
Oh, shit.
And let's just run the app, see if it crashes or anything.
Building 600 tasks. Holy crap.
Yep. I'm flexing my M1 Mac here.
Oh, dude, yeah, like I'm starting to feel. At first, I'm like, oh, it's all right, and I'm starting to feel like see a lot big difference in code compilation.
Yeah. See, that's what money gets you. Okay, so if your app doesn't crash, then most likely it's working. Because if something's misconfigured, it's actually going to crash. So if it doesn't, then
Yeah,
you're good.
it run fine.
Yeah, and you'll probably see this. I'm not sure what it is, to be honest. It's just something like one of the pods that Firebase uses, some kind of. I don't know what I don't know.
I
what
don't
kind
have
of,
that error message.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have that either.
Oh, okay, so it's just.
Oh, it's the M1.
It's actually not the M1. Like I've always had this message for all of my projects, so I'm not too sure what that is. It's a curse, but it's okay. Yeah. All right. So now let's go back to our Firebase overview. And let's go into, let's click, so the left-hand menu here, you can actually expand it with this little arrow. And let's go into authentication. And click on get started. All right, so for this one, let's turn on email and password, just enable. Email link, I don't know. Maybe not, I've never tried it.
That just makes me remind me of Slack, which I really hate.
Yeah, it has its uses, but
yeah, I mean it's good for like kind of security.
Yeah.
It's just based on based on that person's email access.
Yeah.
But I kind of don't like it when you're forced to open email every time to log in.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying. Yeah, but make sure that's enabled. And if you scroll down, there's some protections that can prevent spamming. So 1 account per email address, or you can manage the sign up quota. So you can change, like, so you can basically say that from the same IP address, if someone signs up 100 times within an hour, we'll just ban that person temporarily. Right, so now that we have that set up, let's open up this link. Let me send it in the chat. It's just the official documentation. Sip of coconut and watermelon.
Where did we go?
It's the link in the chat.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Got it.
Now, if you're there, step 1, step 2, we already did. Step 3, we did. Step 4, we did. Look at us. Step 5, we did.
Head CP.
Huh?
I said head CP vibes, you know.
Exactly. All right, so we got to add a few things here. Remember how in the pod file we only added analytics? Well, now we have to add authentication because we're trying to authenticate. So just add that in your pod file and do another pod install. And actually, let's add the Firestore thing too, because we're gonna do database work a little bit later anyways. So might as well just deal with it now. Yeah, and I think that's it. Now this is interesting. Cloud functions for Firebase client. Interesting, I have to look into that. But right now just have analytics, auth, and Firestore, and do another. Jeez, which terminal is this again?
That's not the right one.
This is the right one.
Yeah.
This is the way.
It doesn't name it.
All right. Boring SSL.
gRPC.
And by the time you add these things in and you start up your app again, you'll see even more error messages. Boring SSL loves spitting out messages in the console.
Really?
Yeah. Or it could be just me, because I found out, you know, that weird message, like it didn't happen to you guys, so maybe it's just me. Still waiting. It's still downloading. Okay, it's doing something.
It's installing Firebase again.
Yeah. Well, I think if it detects the core has already been installed, it kind of just jumps over it. Yeah. App sale? I don't know what this is. C++. All these interesting things. GTM session fetcher. I don't know what that is. It's a waiting game.
Yeah.
A
Man,
lot of things.
While you're waiting, it's perfect time for a sponsor segment.
Harmless Harvest. It's harmless. And it's also pink. Well, I mean, of course, this one's pink because it's got watermelon. But I actually really do enjoy their. This is totally not sponsored, by the way, but I really do enjoy their coconut water. Actually, the coconut water that they make is the only kind of coconut water that I can tolerate.
As in like, oh yeah, because you said that they're.
I generally do not like the taste of processed coconuts. Like I hate those coconut flaked
No, I get
cereal or granola. Like their taste just tastes so weird. But and then the usual coconut water, I don't like those. But for whatever reason, their coconut water tastes really good to me, and they're pink, and all the other ones are just clear. So and of course, you know me, I like pink stuff.
Yeah.
Um, so they're my favorite water. Sorry, coconut water. Also because they're expensive, and of course
That
you gotta
must mean quality, right?
yeah, you gotta buy the most expensive thing out there, not the best, but the most expensive.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, just like when building a computer, you just go to PC part
exactly,
picker and then sort by a most
exactly.
expensive
When
price.
you buy a new MacBook, a MacBook Air, just pick the Intel processor, so it's more expensive than the M1 processor. It must be a better product.
Wait, is
It
I'm
really
more
is.
cheap? Oh my.
Let's find out. You know what? Let's find out since it's still freaking going. Let's find out. Store. Which store? Is that store?
I
No, this.
doubt that M1 will be cheaper.
No, I think last time I saw. Okay, MacBook Pro 13. Buy. Okay, M1. This is M1 processor M1.
Intel
Intel. Yes.
Okay.
1799.
Yes. It's you're paying more for an inferior product. Yep.
Whoa, but Intel is such a market dominant.
I
Everyone
know.
knows Intel.
I know. Everyone knows
There's no way
Intel.
they'll slack off.
All right, so I finished. How about you guys?
I'm still on gRPC core.
Same.
All right. Not to worry. Well, we can kind of look ahead, right?
Yeah.
So we've done all this. And if you don't want to use CocoaPods, you can just download the zipped files. Okay, so this page is basically useless, I guess. Now it just gives you links. Okay. Authentication, there we go, iOS.
All right, I'm done.
All right. And by the way, they have a pre-built UI, which just looks horrible. I mean, this looks like something out of a sketchy React Native project. It does not look native to iOS at all. So don't ever do this.
Well, I mean, Google's really consistent with their designs all
I
across
know,
different platforms.
consistently ugly.
Consistently ugly, like material design. They make the rules and then they don't follow it themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. See that just doesn't. That's just that's for like. It just doesn't look good. Honestly, it looks terrible. So just don't use that. So let's do password authentication. There we go. Let me know when you guys are finished. Mark, you said you finished?
No, Gucci is done.
Oh, okay.
My internet is kind of potato,
Yeah. I think it downloads the source code and then it tries to compile it or something. I don't know.
Yeah. How big is that package anyway?
Well, let's find out. Let's go to the pause folder. The RPC thing, right? Let's see.
Yeah,
let's
RPC core.
find out. Okay, it's really small. So I think
It's
it downloads quickly, but it takes a while to compile. Or wait, why is it changing?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see how big this is actually. It's not bad.
Oh, generating pods project.
There we go.
Oh, it still has to integrate the project.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, okay,
Oh,
it's
shoot,
done.
I totally forgot to increase the font size, I think. Or do you think that's clear enough?
What?
This
Oh, yeah,
font size?
it's fine.
It's fine, okay. Because I'm not using the bigger screen today. So if the font's too big, I can't see anything without scrolling.
Oh, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. All right. Are you about done?
Oh, I'm done. I just
All right.
finished.
Nice. Okay. So So let's see here. First step, oh, we did this. Also, we did this too. Okay. So you see signing in with Firebase, it's just a one-liner. It's so easy. So let's first do sign up because you can't sign in without signing up.
Mhm.
So it's just auth.auth. So that's like a singleton object, I'm thinking. Create user, and then this is like, this is really self-explanatory. I don't think I have to explain what this means because I actually cannot make it simpler. Create user with email and password, and then it gives you an authentication result and error object. And the other thing is, once the user is successfully created, it automatically assigns the user in. And then let's do the sign in layer. Let's do the sign up for now. Right. So let's go to our sign up page, our sign up view controller. Let me get rid of this first. Okay. So of course, the first thing to do is to import Firebase auth, because we're only using the authentication part of it. Now let's scroll down to sign up action, because this is the or the equivalent of whatever function you call when the user presses the button. So I just did sign up action. I created a function called sign up action. Mark, I think, are you using your own code or using
I
my
use
code?
yours.
Okay. That's sad. I wanted to see what you came up with.
Oh, what I can it was in that video.
Oh, yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Yeah. Infinite stacks.
Infinite stacks. All right, so in here, let's just do, let's try to grab the email and password first. But notice how I have, okay, I'm not gonna compile for now because it's gonna take a while. Let's do, so create a new account. So you see I have password and confirm password, right?
Yeah.
And I want them to be the same before I would allow the user to actually sign up. So we have to first check if two password entries are the same, and then sign up through Firebase, right? So that's what we're gonna do. So firstly, let's pull the email, the text values of the email and password. Email equals, I think it was called email text field.text, and let password equals password text field.text. Actually, I think a better way to do it, because if you don't have an email or password entered, we shouldn't proceed anyways. So let's use a guard statement. The only problem is I forgot how to use a guard statement. Guard. Okay. Guard let. Okay. Guard let email text. Email equals email text field.text. Else just return. So this basically means if the email, okay, so if email text field.text is not null, then we assign it to this email variable. Otherwise, we return immediately without proceeding any further, because there's no point. Your email's empty. And we can do the same for the other for the password fields. Ooh. So you see how powerful the autocomplete for Xcode is. It's actually going to handicap you during interviews. Luckily, it didn't happen to me because I've been doing some Swift work, but it could happen. IDEs could make you way too comfortable, and then you just forget how to code without one.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So now we unwrapped those optional values here. Let's go ahead and start checking. So we actually don't have to check if the email format's correct, because Firebase will do that for you. All you have to check is if password and confirm password are the same. So let's use another guard statement. Password equals confirm password, else just return.
Hey, where did conf pw text field that text come from?
Oh, that's just something I added, just confirm password text field.
Oh shoot!
So
Wait.
we're on the sign up screen, not the sign in.
Oh crap. Okay.
It's okay. Yeah, because you want to make sure the user really knows what they're entering. Actually, fun story. When I was in middle school, I think 7th grade or sixth grade, I saved up all month in order to buy a copy of Battlefield Bad Company 2. And after and it's supposedly it's a black market key, like the kind of keys that you get on G2A. So basically means it's a sketchy key that was probably bought with a stolen credit card and whatnot. So rumors were that those keys were prone to getting banned by EA just anytime, at any time. There's just a risk of you being banned just because your key is problematic. It's not purchased legitimately. So like, but they're cheaper. So I got this key, and then I created my EA account. Of course, lied about my date of birth. um, and then so I created that account on the website, redeemed Battlefield Bad Company 2 key, and then I downloaded the game, and then went into the game. So back then um, the game had like a separate installer. There was no Origin back then. There was no like Steam Origin. Maybe there was Steam, but EA didn't have their own kind of game manager platform. So I had to download the game separately. And then when I went into the game and I tried to log in, it told me my account didn't exist, and I was like, "There's no way I just got banned in that like 1 hour time frame." So I actually went to speak to EA support. Turns out I mistyped my email. I switched 2 characters, and they were able to pull up my wrong email address, like that the typo that I made, and they actually offered me like a free copy that I can get to activate on my correct email. So I got a legitimate copy from an illegitimate copy for free. But that's just
That's big brain move.
yeah. In middle school, I didn't think too much, but
Yeah.
looking back, it's pretty interesting. But it just goes to show, um, maybe sometimes for idiots like me, maybe you even need a confirmed email text field.
Wait,
Um,
before you go, can I see the top for your sign up view?
Sign up.
Yeah, 'cause I think I'm missing something. Firebase. I'm
It's
not. The texts aren't lighting up. I don't know why they're not lighting up.
what do you mean? What's not happening?
Because I've been typing in my sign in view this entire time, and then
Yeah.
I guess the sign up was not. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, so I have that file in the Discord chat if you want to take a look. You can just download it and add it into your project.
All right, I'll try that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but back then, those were the times, man. Playing that game with a uh, Radeon HD 5750. And later on, I switched to NVIDIA. I switched to a 560 Ti, I think. Yeah, good times.
Good times.
Yeah, that was what I think 2009. Damn, that was a long time ago.
Do I have to press copy files from?
So you drag it into your Xcode.
Yeah.
So you drag it in here instead of copy it copying it through the Finder, because if
Yeah,
you
if you
copy it
go
through the
through,
Finder,
it won't register.
Xcode won't detect it. Because well, for a C++ project, Xcode scans all the files automatically, but for an iOS Swift project, Xcode actually keeps track of the files separately. So they have like their own registry of files, and if you don't add the files through them, it's not going to register.
Okay, got it to work.
Yeah. You also have to add this line right here to present it. in your sign in view controller.
In my view sign in,
Yeah.
we need to add that in.
Yeah.
Create account. Create account. Present. Oh, that's what I was missing.
Yeah. So actually makes the button do something.
Sign up. Animated. Mail. Okay, I think we're good.
All right, cool.
I'm gonna assume we're good. I'm just gonna keep going.
Yeah. And all right, so now that we've checked the user's email, if it's no or not, passwords, if they're no, and if the two passwords are the same, after those 4 checks, we're ready to basically do our sign up and call the Firebase function. So it was auth. And also don't forget, Bucci, to import Firebase auth in your sign up view controller.
Yes, sir.
So it's auth dot create user. And with email, the email is just email. Password is just password. And we have this completion block, this closure that gives us a auth data result in error. So just hit enter. Now, again, we have to give them names so we can reference them. So I just call this one result and this one error. Let me know when you guys have
Hey,
caught
so
up.
go back
Yep.
to about completion. What was wrong with completion?
Sorry, what did you say?
What was wrong with completion?
What was wrong with what?
Completion.
Oh, completion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there anything wrong with it, or what does it do?
So this is this is a type. This is a closure type. There's nothing wrong with it. This is a closure type, but this is not how the actual closure is written. So you just hit enter, and it'll give you the correct format. So you don't have to type it out yourself. And these two variables, just name them whatever you want. I'll just name this result and this one error. It's just for our reference so that we can kind of reference it. We can call on it inside a closure.
Okay.
Now, usually the first thing that we do is check if there are any errors. So you see the error is an optional error object, which means if there are no errors, then this will be nil, but it will not be nil if there is an error. So let's just do if let error equals error, and let's just do a print error for now. And obviously, if there's an error, we just want to return immediately after we print out the error because it means the sign up failed. So we don't want to proceed if there's an error. Now this result is more interesting. Let's see what's in here. So it contains the user object, actually. It gives you access to a user object. And this user is basically, it's a Firebase user. So you can actually see the display name, the email, and those ID tokens are for some other authentications, other forms of authentication. There's also, you can check if the user's anonymously logged in, which at this point it cannot be because we turned off anonymous signups and logins. You can also check if their email is verified or not. The metadata, let's see what this is. Okay, creation date, last sign-in date. These are the two kinds of metadata that you can check on the user. Let's keep going. Multi-factor, I'm not sure what that is. We'll come back to it. You can check on if the user has a phone number associated with it, a URL, the profile picture, provider data. So I think this is more reserved for like Apple sign in or some third party sign in. Provider ID, that's like Apple or Facebook or so whatever. So and then re-authenticate. You can actually force the user to sign in again. I think renews the user's authentication token by doing something. But the point is, there are a lot of things here, but this is just a Firebase user object, and at this point, we don't really need it, so we're just not going to use it for now. And since again in the documentation, Firebase said that once the new account was successfully created, the user is automatically signed in. So we actually have to keep that in mind. That we do not pop back to the sign in screen again. We directly go past the login stuff altogether because the user's already signed in. But we'll worry about that part later. Yeah, that here. Do you guys have this working?
Yeah.
Bushi, about you?
We're just supposed to.
Yeah. Sorry, what did you say?
I said, can we run it? Is there like a way to run it? Or...
Oh yeah, let's run. I was waiting to flex my M1 processing power.
Building 5,000 tasks.
All right,
Holy
Mark. I'm gonna
shit.
start building. All right, let's see who finishes first.
Bro, I was already building it before you said start building.
I know.
I'm at 250.
I got a problem in my sign-in controller. The create action, account action. I have a cannot convert value of type sign up.
Oh, okay. So you have to create an instance, not just give it the type. So you're probably missing this.
Where is that?
The parentheses right after it.
You are right.
Wait, what is the you have in the UI extension stuff Swift? That you noticed? It wasn't.
It was something I made for testing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was gonna show it to you guys, but I decided not.
So I have this error. I think it's the one you're talking about. I think it's the same thing. NW protocol get quick image block invoke.
Yeah, the weird thing. It doesn't affect anything, but oh, I'm done, Mark.
I'm at 1500. right behind you. Almost there. One day it will catch up.
One day. All right.
All right, so we're gonna create a user.
Huh?
You can create users. Does it work?
Yeah.
Test at t test no test.t.com.
Oh, you're already done too?
Damn, yours already compiled?
Yeah. There's the thing.
Wow, Mark, what's your problem?
Bro, it's the first gen, you know.
All right. So first you can actually I'm gonna wait for Mark before, but Bucci can mess around in it, see, and then check on your Firebase console, and then.
Wait, my sign up button doesn't work. Do we work on the sign up button? Right. What do we do for sign up?
It prints something. It should print stuff into the console, or if it's successful, nothing happens. But you can check on your Firebase console, and you should see a new user.
The password must be 6 characters long.
Yeah.
Oh shoot. Okay.
So it checks. It does a lot of checks for you, so you don't have to enforce all the password rules.
You know, like it's annoying when they're like, hey, you have to use special character, but you can't use certain special character that's available on the keyboard. That got me like, the fuck?
Third-party keyboards is already registered. We have blocked all requests from this device due to unusual activity. Try again later.
Wait, what happened?
It says, I got an error that says block invoked TI Analytics event spec with name third-party keyboards is already registered. We have blocked all requests from this device due to unusual activity.
Try again. Blocked.
Can you copy and paste that error? Chances are it's just a random warning that doesn't do anything. Does it affect your program?
Not necessarily, but I can't register, so we'll see.
Oh, you can't register. Wait, can you copy and paste the error message into the chat so I can take a look?
Doing it now. Control C. Paste.
Huh. I've never seen that before. take a look.
Maybe because I'm typing on the keyboard, or like I'm pressing the keyboard. Maybe if I just type it in regularly. Let's see.
Let me see.
Are you registered?
I actually can't find this error online. Oh, okay, Firebase. Okay, Firebase error.
Phone authentication.
That's quite weird. Could it be that because our projects all have like the same oh, that's just the display name, unless you didn't change the bundle identifier.
No, because mine has my name in it, so
Yeah, so let me you know what? Let me try. But Mark, how you doing on the
I'm on 2700. I only have 1500 to go.
All right, I'll keep going. You can watch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
you try.
Yeah.
Let's see if it works for you, because
Yeah.
it might work for you.
Okay, let me try to use my my USD email. Oh, wait. I just committed a sin. Wait, autocorrection is no. Why is it capitalizing for me?
Maybe because you're typing with your keyboard.
Oh, auto capitalization type. None. I have sinned. I have to change it here too.
You have sin of the very thing that you
Yes.
said no to.
Yes.
Oh, we'll also do it for password, right?
Well, password, if you have is secure entry true, it automatically disables everything.
Okay.
So let's try my
Oh,
USD
it
email.
finished building.
Oh, I have the same thing here.
Oh, it's just not just me. That's good to know. That's good to know you're not alone.
Oh, I can register.
Email. Where did it register?
Huh?
Where did it register?
What do you mean?
It says.
Well, it says it's already in use by another account, which means I registered. And if I check on my dashboard, my console, I see it here.
Let me check mine.
I can't do auto capitalization. What? TF the auto capitalization
Oh, mine
type
registered too, actually.
equals dot no.
Test1@t.com. It registered.
Yeah.
I guess it's just still an error. The error still pops up, but it just seems to.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is, honestly. Some analytics stuff. Maybe that's like the IQ keyboard manager or something. Maybe it's not happy about it. I actually have no idea.
Where
But
is
yeah,
it?
but you can see here if we type in the password that are different. Oh, okay. It definitely has something to do with the IQ keyboard manager. It's not playing well with the analytics. See, whenever I switch text field, it's going to trigger another one. Something to do with, yeah,
Could it be
I
because we're
wouldn't worry
printing
about
the
it.
error? Localized description. Could it be because like we're printing this error out on localized description?
No, this is not a part
That
of
should
that
only
print.
be when your registration doesn't go through properly.
Yep, this is just a logging thing. Yeah, it's got nothing to do with our error printout. Our error printout only happens when you press the sign up button. So, but this happens when you switch text fields. Yeah, it's probably analytics. I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah, but mine. I guess I could do another one just to test, but it seems like it saved.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I see mine now.
Yeah. Does it work?
Yeah.
Okay. So that was pretty painless, right?
Yeah.
And now let's just move on to our sign in screen and try to sign in. How about that?
Aha. Sign in.
So again, we have to import Firebase auth. And this is not the best practice. So apparently you're supposed to have a class, an auth class, and then Firebase class that handles everything. But we're not gonna go that far today.
Well, what do you mean not best practice?
So it's best to have like a single class that handles all the authentication work and a single class that handles like all the database work, as opposed to just having codes scattered all over the place.
Okay.
Yeah. But this is fine. This is a really simple program, and I just wanted to get you guys up to speed with all these. So we can overlook that for now. And in our sign in action, let's comment this out for now. And let's again check, make sure the email, email and password are not empty. We're using the same code. Oops. Right, so these two guard statements, they make sense, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So after these, now that we made sure the user has email and password typed in, do again auth.auth. I haven't seen the documentation, but I'm gonna guess it's sign in. And you see there are a lot of sign in methods, but
Sign in
what we
with
want to
email.
do is email and password. And email is just email, password is just password. Completion, again, we have this completion block. We have result and error. And again, if let error, if we have an error, let's print it and return immediately. Otherwise, if there's no error, let's do this. Let's print out result.user. Let's see what else is in result. What's additional user info? Interesting. All right, result.user. Let's print out the email or display name rather. Or we can probably print out the entire object, to be honest. And let's actually go to the screen and I'll comment this. So what's happening here is we're signing in. It's okay, don't worry about this. So we're signing in with email and password. And if we detect an error, then we print the error and then return immediately without going anywhere. But if our sign in is successful, we print out this user object that's given to us, and then we go to the next screen. So let's try and run this. Look at that build speed. All right, so I'm gonna type in. Okay, so that weird keyboard thing is only happening in the sign up screen for some reason. No idea. All right, so let me type in an email address that does not exist. And password. And if I click on sign in, you can see that the error returned by Firebase says there is no user record, blah, blah. So doesn't exist. Now, if I type in my own email and sign in with the wrong password, password's invalid.
No.
And if I sign in with the right password, which I think is 123456, and we sign in here, it takes us to the next screen.
I don't have that.
You don't have which one?
The next screen,
Oh yeah,
it's the thing you were testing, right?
yeah.
But I
Yeah.
did have optional fire user.
Yeah, so apparently it doesn't print well. So why don't we set a breakpoint here and rerun the app? So I can show you, or I can set a breakpoint. If you want to do it, if you want to follow along for fun, you can do it too. Bucci, how you doing?
I got stuck, but it's okay. We'll keep going.
All right. Is it a quick one, you think?
No, I just got lost in all the typing, and I think I had to leave.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna auth little part.
The auth is the same as the sign up one.
Yeah.
It's the exact same code, so you can just copy paste that.
Except you're not doing create user, you're doing sign in.
Yeah, that's the only difference.
So let me sign in here. And we hit this breakpoint and just spinning circles. I don't know why it's spinning for so long. Okay, there we go. So we're able to see the objects in here. So the result object and then the user object. Okay, this is actually not very good.
Okay.
Yeah. How you doing?
I just got the testing part. Do we have priorities view controllers? That's
Do you guys have it? I forgot.
I don't think so.
No, we never did it.
Okay. It could be in my. It's okay. It doesn't matter. It's just going to your next screen. It doesn't matter.
I signed in. It looks like so.
Yeah, it's nothing. It's just a screen with like a blue box and a green box. All right. Sign in. Let's see what we can get. All right. Okay. You can see the user object. Okay. It's not very pretty, but you can see all the information here. The user ID. So that's my user ID, which matches the one you can see here. I've got my I'm not sure what this is. Display name, which is empty. Photo URL, which is empty, which shouldn't be, but I'm not too sure. Well, email. I have an email. I'm actually not sure what this is. But anyhow, okay. So user. Yeah, I'm not sure what this is. And metadata, the last sign-in date and the creation date. So these are my when I created this account and when I last signed in, and they're all in UTC. Yeah, but that's about it for signing in with Firebase. It's very it's extremely straightforward, I think. At least when you look at the code, there's only a couple of lines. Once you understand it, it's very simple. Firebase does all the heavy lifting for you. And also, one thing that I like to stress is that you have to realize this closure is asynchronous, which means it does not execute immediately. So if I have a print statement here that prints 1, if you're depending on your internet speed, it's very possible that 1 will print first before the code in here executes. Because the code in here does not execute until Firebase
Finished it.
until Firebase gets back to you and you receive that data.
So if I were to do like the present, like the earlier one where we had noticed me. So if I do a present view controller inside of that, would it work or would that not work?
Present view controller in where?
After line 142.
It would work, yeah.
But that would only show up once I sign in.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I get an error that says implicit use of self in closure. Use self dot to make capture semantics
Yeah,
explicit.
just add self dot add
Okay.
before present, self dot present. Or if you're a pro, you can do weak self or unowned self. Add that right before your closure.
What does that do?
So a weak self. So this again goes back to the
It goes to
concept.
the init, right?
Huh?
It goes back to the counter thing arc.
Yeah, the automatic reference counter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if for whatever reason your closure and your view controller they have a circular reference, which I can't really think of a case. I can't really think of, when it happens, but the good practice is to use weak self or unowned self. This one also will not increment the automatic reference counter for your view controller. So just reference your own view controller like that, and you can prevent like memory leaking. But if there is some memory leak, then it doesn't really matter for our purposes right now, because we have a tiny app. It's just one screen. I mean, how much memory can you leak? But it can be a problem in more complicated apps. Let's say you have like a navigation controller with like 5 view controllers in the navigation stack, and you're trying to deallocate them. But the problem is there's a circular reference somewhere, so they can't be deallocated. Then that might prove to be like to have a huge memory footprint. But for our purposes for today, it's not very, it doesn't really matter. Now we've done sign up and sign in. The one thing left to do is forgot password. So we can do that. So forgot password, again, I made this using this code over here that we went over at the beginning. So a UI alert controller with a text field in there, and an action that does something, right? So why don't we try this? So let's use a guard statement to make sure the email is there. Let's just do text field.first.text. Else we just return, I guess. So this again, if you guys need a refresher, alert refers to this alert controller, and then because we added a text field into the alert controller, it has a built-in attribute. It has a built-in variable called text fields, which is an array of text fields. And when we called add text field, it just adds a new UI text field into this array that we can access later. And we're accessing it here, so we're just accessing whatever the user typed into this email address.
Wait, what did we type in? Did we type in anything new?
So right here, what we're trying to do in this line,
Oh god.
in these 2 lines, is just trying to access what the user typed in for their email address in forgot password. So the alert controller, which is this alert thing in general, has a built-in array called text fields, which keeps track of all the text fields in there. And because I added one earlier, I know for sure that it's going to be in that array. So we grab that and then grab the text value. So then that would just be whatever the user typed into this text field. Now, let me, and again, okay, we have to import. Let me, without looking at the documentation, let me try to guess, just to see like how intuitive Firebase is. So is it recover? No, password. Oh yeah, see, send password reset. So with email and a completion block. And it's again, gives you an error. So if there's an error, let's print it. And you're going to see this a lot. Like if let error equals error, print error dot localized description. You're going to see me doing this every single time, because that's just how it is. Right. How you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Try to compile.
Hmm?
We try to compile now. See if it works.
Yeah. Yeah, let's do it. All right, let me try forgot password. And actually, I'm gonna have my email open.
Oh, I used a fake email, so I don't think it's gonna work.
Uh-oh, I'm gonna have to censor my Coinbase emails from the recording.
But one thing that we can't do is click out of the forgot password thing
Yeah,
without.
that's we haven't done that yet.
I noticed that when I.
Yeah, right now we cannot click out of it, which is a problem. All right, so let me send myself a password reset email here. Whoa, so it's over here. Now again, like if I type in an email that does not exist, it's not even the proper email format. It's gonna give us an error or not. Oh, it will. It says this email address is badly formatted. So let me type in my own email.
Well, reset password for project 26 blah 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 blah.
Email sent. Okay. So now let's wait for it. There we go. Yep. So that's a password reset link.
I'm trying to see if I can create.
Wow, they even have a default interface to reset password.
Yeah, and there's a template too. Password reset template. You can
Oh shit.
change that.
My sign up isn't working now. I'm trying to sign up with like my USC email and it's not letting me.
What does it say?
That same error we were getting before is now becoming.
Like it's blocking your device.
Yeah.
No. If you do it again, it will say that user has been created.
I checked my console.
Can you share your screen? Let's take a look.
Yeah, let me try one more time.
Yeah. That's an interesting error. I've never seen that one. Seeing that your device has been like blocked.
Blocked by Apple
Uh,
and Firebase.
Here we go. How do I share my screen? Share. All right. So
mhm.
this is the. Oh. All right. See.
Okay. Try a different iOS simulator. So instead of iPod Touch, try like an iPhone.
Yo, I don't think fine.
Hey, let's try it and see what happens. It is technically a different device. I'm not sure why it's saying that though. It's like I think it only happens if you spam the crap out of it.
iPod 7. You don't like my iPod 7 generation?
We don't do that here.
There we go. Hey.
Do I see some orange shadow from the sign in button?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Dude,
Wait, so what was the issue?
it does no, it's
It doesn't create with your US email. What? That's what you said.
Here we go.
That's very weird. That is very odd. I actually have no idea why that happens. Let me look it up actually.
I mean, it looks like there's a notification in your console. Maybe that will say something, Gucci.
This console?
In your Firebase console, there's like next to go to docs. There's
Oh,
like
that like the bell icon?
Yeah.
Oh no, that's not it.
Old stuff. Let's see.
Oh,
Why am I
actually,
too
I think
far?
there is a fix. Wait, there actually isn't.
Why did the others show up and this one doesn't want to show up now? Maybe if I try it different.
Wait, let's see. Oh, wait, hang on. Let me see. Can I see your code? Or is it just, does it work with any other email or?
No, it doesn't work.
No, okay. Wait, let me see. Create user, huh? Okay. Okay. So go to your Firebase authentication thing, the web page. Go into sign in method. Scroll to the bottom. And click on change. Yeah, for whatever reason, I think you mischanged it to 10, so it limits you from doing 10 signups per hour. Now just click save and you should be good. Yeah, that's fine. 1,000 is fine too. It's 8:44 right now.
Yeah, time is flying.
I know, man. All right, now you should be able to, yeah. I think you accidentally, yeah, there we go. Made it 10 instead of the default 100, so it thinks you're spamming because it's coming from the same IP address.
Woo, got it. Thanks. All right.
That's cool. All right, so,
Overflow. Always coming.
huh?
That Stack Overflow over something in Clutch.
Yeah, I didn't know, yeah, I never knew that was a thing. It's interesting. All right, I guess, you know, I think tonight we did a pretty interesting intro. I wanted to show you guys something else though. So, you know, when we click on things like forgot password or sign in, sign up, I think it would be nice if you showed the user like a loading dialog, right? Like a little spinner or something.
Oh.
So why don't we make that from scratch? It's really easy to make. So let's create a new file. So I'm just going to use the remaining 15 minutes to do that because I think it will be too much of a rush to do database. So let's just name it spinner view controller.
You made a utilities folder?
Yeah,
When did that happen? Did I miss that?
I'm
No,
not sure
it
actually.
was just it was never won over, but then Jack said he just did it while he was like testing stuff.
Yeah, I think so. Because I'm so organized. All right. Anyhow, you don't really need that folder. It's okay. It's just for organizing purposes. But let's create a new view controller called spinner view controller. And you don't have to make it a subclass of base view controller. Just make it a subclass of UI view controller. And let's create it. Let's delete all the storyboard stuff because I don't want to see it.
But I never had that dialog pop up when I create a new file, like create a subclass. It just directly showed me like where do I want it saved.
Which dialog?
Like when you were creating, you said I don't make it sub view of like a
Subclass.
subclass. Yeah.
The screen?
Oh, I didn't do Coco.
Oh, is it
Uh,
okay?
oh, you just created like a Swift file?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did too.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. You just have to write this manually. Class spinner view controller inherits from UI view controller.
Oh, okay. So that's like
Yeah.
the different.
Yeah, it just gives you a template.
Yeah, because I was wondering, okay, it doesn't create it by default, like how else in Java, Eclipse.
Well, we hate Java. No one knows about it.
Eclipse is the best IDE.
Yeah.
I hate Java so much.
Okay.
It's rolling,
Alright.
rolling for me.
You got it?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So first thing we're gonna do is let's make our let's make our spinner, right? So it would be, so let spinner, I'm just doing it directly in view.load equals UI activity indicator view. So this one, this is basically just a spinner. And you can, and then you can give it a style. It's either large or medium. I'm just going to make it large. And by the way, the difference between large, gray, white, and white large is that gray and white are both medium size, but they're not reactive to dark mode or light mode. Meanwhile, large and medium, these are the newer ones. They change their colors based on if you're light mode or dark mode. So let's just use large.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And then after that, it's really simple. Let's just add this into our into the view, because that's how we show it. And then we want to show it in the middle of the screen. So let's just use SnapKit. And just make the center equal to the super view. So when you make center equal to super view, it means center X and center Y equal to super view. And at the very end, you want to start animating it so it actually starts spinning. And that's it. That's it. Let me know when you guys are finished typing this.
Yep.
Oh, start animating is what causes you to. I said start animating is what causes you to be able to.
So if you don't have this, it will be a spinner, but it won't be spinning.
It's just like a circle.
It's just a spinner that doesn't spin.
All right, got it.
Yeah, all right. So let's go back to our sign in, or rather,
Both, right? We'll have to do sign in and sign up.
let's do sign in. Yep, let's do sign in. And let's do it. So right before we send the request, we want to you know, right before we send the request, we want to
Present.
yes, there we go. So present, how do I call it? Okay, spinner view controller, true, completion, we don't have to do anything. But the problem is, there are two problems.
Self dot present. Self dot present.
That's not the issue. The issue is if I
It will
click
come
sign
out
in,
a card, right? Yeah.
yeah, and there's nothing. And plus, it doesn't dismiss itself. And so firstly, it comes out like that. It's kind of weird. It makes the other view kind of go back a little bit. Secondly, it doesn't dismiss itself. So the second problem is easier to fix. Let's just assign it to like a variable and present that variable instead. Present spinner. And in here, let's just do like spinner.dismiss. So this makes sense, right? So we're presenting it before the Firebase call. And since everything in here only happens when Firebase gets back to us, so we're only going to dismiss it when we get our results back over the network, which can take 2 seconds if you're Mark.
Come on, man.
All right, so let's see it. Let's see how it works this time. Okay, see it dismissed itself. But the problem is we still have this weird motion going on.
Yeah.
Right? And secondly, it doesn't, like, it's just a spinner, right? If our screen's more complicated, it's hard to see the spinner going on. Like it doesn't blur the background or anything. Right? So let's fix things one thing at a time. Let's fix the present issue first, which is like the default sliding up presentation style. We don't want that. what we want is a full screen presentation style with a cross dissolve transition style, which means it kind of eases into the spinner and then it eases out. And plus, because it's a full screen presentation, it doesn't do this weird Z direction movement for the bottom screen, right? And then the way to change it programmatically is just because remember how we assigned it to a variable. Now we can actually change the model presentation style into full screen and the model transition style into cross dissolve. And now when we present it, we will be able to, we'll no longer have the weird movement. We'll actually have something worse. And I'll show you. So now if we click it, it just goes to black.
Oh.
Well, that's because it is full screen. But the problem is it's not overlaying on the current screen. It's presenting as if it's its own separate screen. And although the background is transparent because it's its own separate screen, so we're getting a black background which is transparent.
That looks like a screenshot animation.
Yeah, somewhat.
Right.
It's just white instead of black, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but so what we want to do is instead of full screen, we do over full screen. And now when we do that, you see, it doesn't do the flash to black thing anymore. It's just a nice nice cross dissolve. Okay, so now let's move on to our second issue, which is the background's not blurred or anything, right? It's just a spinner. Now, when the screen's more complicated, it could be difficult for the user to spot the spinner. So the way to solve that is pretty easy. Just give this spinner view controller a background color. And we want it to be, okay, let's actually do that. Because I want the color to, I don't want it to be completely opaque. Like I want it to be somewhat transparent so the user can know which screen they're stuck loading. So let's assign our color into a variable. So UI color dot system background color, system background dot with alpha component. And that basically means with transparency. And I just want to set to 0.75. And now let's assign our background color to this color. And now if we run this again, we will see that if I click sign in, you see it's a nice effect. And the best thing is, because I use the system background color, if I go to dark mode, it won't blind you. If I click sign in, you see it makes it darker for a bit. I think this looks marginally better than light mode. See, pretty cool. We didn't have to do any animation by hand. We're just using the present, the cross dissolve present to handle it for us. Now, do you guys have all of this down?
Everything but dark mode. How'd you get a dark mode again?
Oh, so this toggle right here, and then environment overrides, enable appearance, and just click on dark.
What is that?
And if dark doesn't work, click on light and toggle back to dark. Sometimes you need to toggle it.
All right. I have no idea what happened, but
Yeah.
Woo! Oh, good.
all my simulations are gone. There's only like
winner
Mac.
chicken dinner.
Wait, what happened, Mark?
Oh, like you know how like for the changing the device, right?
Yeah.
I only see my Mac and any Mac.
Did you click?
I was like removing like old stuff that I don't need, and then.
Interesting. Your old stuff that you don't need.
Yeah, because I previously I had like week 1, week 2, week 3, right? And then I'm like, oh, I'll just make a make a separate one, then have everything from there.
Let's fix it a
Yeah,
little
let's do
bit
that
later.
later. Yeah, let's finish
This
this
is
first.
so yeah. I want you guys to leave in like 5-10 minutes. But there's one last thing that I want to cover. So Bucci, you have this working, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right. So Mark and Bucci, let me ask you a question. When you see when you see these 4 lines of code, what's wrong here?
Spinner.
There's nothing wrong syntactically or anything,
Repeated?
but there is something wrong when it comes to what if I want to do this to 100 screens?
Yeah, it's a lot of repeated information. Like
You have to
Yeah.
do it manually every time you
You
call
have to
spinner.
set the model, presentation, transition every time, right?
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and fix that so we don't have to set it every time. Let's assign these. Let's do these in spinner view controller's initializer, so that when we initialize it, it's already done, and we don't have to do all that. We can just we don't have to do these 2 lines anymore, and we can save this line too. Actually, no, we can't save it because we gotta dismiss it later. But we can save these 2 lines from, we don't have to type it every time. So let's do init in spinner view controller, and it takes no parameters, but it does call the parent init function, this one, and these 2 will be nil. And if it prompts you for like a required initializer, just click the fix. So let me explain what's happening. So right here, we're defining our own initializer for this view controller. But when it comes to inheritance, you have to call your parents constructor, right? So this line is here, we're calling our parents constructor. This constructor is basically saying, do I want to load any storyboard elements? No. Do I want to load any bundles? No, because we're not using storyboards. So both of these are nil. And now, we have our init method. And by the way, you also have this init coder. This is for storyboards, I think. So we're not going to use that, or serialization or something, but we'll never use it. Okay, so after this, let's just do like model transition is cross dissolve, and model presentation is over full screen. Now this way we can get rid of these 2 lines here. And if you run this again, we'll have the same behavior, but we're going to save some code here.
Like, can you go back to spin view control?
Yeah.
I have spinner dot in front of it. I need that thing. It works.
Pretty good. And the best thing about doing things this way is that when you're loading, the user cannot click on anything else on the screen. So you see, if I click here, keyboard pops up, right? But if I click sign in and during the animation I try to click, nothing happens. So it's less likely for the user to break your app.
Are you able to put delays or like lengths?
Oh yeah. So we can add an artificial delay. So the way you do it is dispatch queue dot main dot async after, and you can have a deadline, and the deadline basically means how long to wait, kind of. So it will be now plus 1. That will be 1 second into the future, or 2 or 3. So if I do 2 and then execute, I do all this. It just means that everything inside of this async after will be executed asynchronously, and it will be executed after 2 seconds. So let me do a print here. Okay, and then let's pay attention to when things happen. So when I click sign in, you see the print happens first, and then the authentication happens, because we delayed it manually for 2 seconds. Yeah, so that's how you do a manual delay.
Let's patch Q.
Hmm.
Got it. What do I do? It's actually really cool to see how easy Firebase was integratable into like these app development. How much
Yeah,
it make it easy for you.
it's a real time saver because let me show you. Let me show you what happens if you don't use Firebase for sign in. I actually have to look for it. It's been a while since I. Oh yeah, over here. Let's see. Where is, so this is my 201 final project.
Whoa.
It's been so long, I forgot. Is it utilities? It's networking. Oh yeah. When you don't use Firebase and you use HTTP requests, you have to, yeah, set up the parameters, wait for return value. See, this is so like, this is so amateurish, but it is what it is. We're like returning strings, like if the user's registered or not. Yeah, but with Firebase, it's a one-liner. Yeah, I commented everything out for some reason. Yeah, we're using Heroku server, Fierce Savannah. But yeah, I think Firebase makes a lot of things super, super easy. So I'm trying to request for data here. I don't even know what this is. I don't know what went through my mind when I wrote this error code. I don't even know what it represents. Yeah, but Firebase makes things a lot easier. So yeah, that's about it for today. Thank you guys for coming.
Thanks again. Appreciate all the assistance.